has happened since my last video about 7 days ago, as we've gone from extreme fear and Bitcoin almost being in the dead zone to the President Trump, hosting the first ever crypto summit at the White House with all of the top industry executives and signing an executive order to announce the Bitcoin strategic reserve. I mean, what could be more bullish, right? And yet, still, even more bearish sentiment than last week when fear and greed was at 10 and Bitcoin seems to be just falling off a cliff. All of the altcoins are dumping and you're wondering why. Why is this happening off the back of the most bullish announcement we've ever seen in crypto history, making its way to the White House, institutions, and the likes of, Larry Fink buying up billions and billions of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, and yet here we are, people wondering if this is the end. So I'm going to jump on here again and remind you as to why it's not the end, how long it's going to take for this next big boom that I anticipate coming, and all of the signs that show that if you just have a little bit of patience, you will do very, very well. In fact, you are competing against the elite who don't have a specific time that they need to sell by. In fact, they will outlast you. The point is for you to capitulate so that they can buy your crypto cheap, because they have an outlook of 5 to 10 years plus, and they're going to outlast you every single time. So in this video, I'm going to highlight why we may have one more big crash, one more flush out before we begin with the biggest wealth generation, wealth creation era in history, the digital golden age. I have not flinched. I have not changed my mind on this. All that has changed is the time frame. And it seems as though the macro conditions are pointing toward we're going to have a more extended cycle this time and may go into 2026, depending on when the Fed decides to pivot and start injecting liquidity back into the markets and the macro conditions improve. But until then, it's just about patience. See, crypto was never a get-rich-quick scheme. This is all about letting it ride out. If you have a thesis like Kathy would, which I'll point out in my presentation now, that this is going to be some of the biggest years in our history as we know it of wealth creation because of the convergence of 5 very powerful technologies and all of this bullish news coming out that affects the fundamentals of this space, because now the US will be holding Bitcoin. They will not sell. And that is hugely, hugely bullish and a big change in the industry. Nothing has changed with Bitcoin, but fundamentally in the macro scale, things are changing for the better. Pro-crypto regulation. And so I'm going to go over exactly why I believe that this is just the beginning. And it's not always a bed of roses. We've got to get through some hurdles, but we will make it. The way I see it, there are several options to be participating in this market as it is. If you are a long-term investor with a long-term hold, set it and forget it mentality, perfect. Ride the wave, be patient, have conviction. The way you have conviction is by studying, staying laser focused and staying updated. Now is the time to do that, to set yourself up to design a strategy that you can stick to if you don't already have one for when we hit what I anticipate to be this massive boom after this last potential crash and flush out. I'll also be going over levels where Bitcoin could hit before we start to potentially reverse. Now, next is you can have a long-term hold position like I do, and also a smaller percentage of your portfolio dedicated to trading. Trading is an incredible skill. You can make money when the markets go up or down. We've been doing live sessions in the Capital Mindset Trading Group every week where we take all of the questions from our members and we go over them one by one. And we teach you how to trade, how to leverage trade, how to make money, whether this market goes up or down. And we have an incredibly strong community of some of the lead analysts in this space in the world. So it's been absolutely amazing. Trading is an incredible skill set to master, and you can do both. You can be a long-term investor, and you can also have a separate portfolio for trading. So those are 2 options to look at to keep it simple, in my opinion. I would not want to miss out on this wave. And again, I want to stress these bigger financial players have a very long-term time horizon. They don't care what Bitcoin does in the meantime. There's been lots of manipulation happening in the markets. And also don't forget, I want to stress, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, which could be potentially why we dumped after the announcement of the Bitcoin strategic reserve coming into place via presidential executive order. So on that note, let's jump right into the juice, guys. There's so much to go over to just understand where Bitcoin is right now, where altcoins are now, and where they're going in the near to midterm. Now, this is not a long time, and you've got to hold on. You've got to stand strong in your convictions. That's the only advice I can give at this moment, which is not financial advice. It's just what I'm doing and how I'm playing it and how I've seen it play out in cycles past. So during this past week, I've been building for our project ATH Vodka. Here it is right here. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think of the bottle. It's actually a very successful brand already on its own, in its own right. In UK, it's selling in Costco. And now we were adding the crypto component, which is you'll be able to tap the top as an NFC chip with your phone and win some of the ATH token. And we are going to be launching the token in April, so stay tuned for that. And my goal is just to make something that's not been done before. I want to really truly give back via sales, buying back the token, giving incredible exclusive perks to members, people who hold the ATH token, and we're coming out with some incredible products. So stay tuned for that. And on that note, let's get right into it. Okay, so first up, crypto, fear, and greed. We have been in fear for weeks now. In fact, when I gave a presentation at our private members club this past week, just a week ago now, on our ATH vodka and updates on the market, we were literally at a 10, at extreme fear. So for me, this is my first indicator, and the simplest way to look at it during a bull market, when I expect a massive boom to come, that it's an incredible opportunity. Not trying to time the market, laddering in, going harder every 10 to 15% dip that we have, and taking it from there. So I want to go back to the presentation that I did give at the club, just to review some of the bullish things that are happening. As you know, I spoke about on the last video, Kathy Wood from ARK Invest, Big Ideas 2025, their report saying that this is going to be the biggest wealth creation in history. Now, we have the first pro-crypto administration in history. I want to just nail this point in, right? All of this talk about a sovereign wealth fund, about Solana, ADA, XRP being part of, a crypto stockpile in the US, as well as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Senator Cynthia Lummis saying we should sell gold to buy Bitcoin. Man. Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs, says Bitcoin is not backed by the government. It's backed by math. He knows. So many things. And this is about why holding a Bitcoin strategic reserve is bullish. It's a hedge against inflation, diversification, decentralized and borderless, of course, potential appreciation, and financial sovereignty. And here we have innovation will return to the US and thrive. President Trump says the golden age of America begins right now. And I truly believe this to be so. If this is your conviction, do not get shaken out. If we're having one final flush out, I'm going to explain the thoughts on when that flush out could be. Hold it strong. Now, again, I have to stress, this is not financial advice. Some people are over leveraged in this market and they can't afford the money they put in the market and they need to get it out. That is never a good situation. Don't invest money that you need anywhere near in the near term or even in the next year. I mean, you've got to have the right mentality in order to succeed in these markets. You will be shaken out every single time if that is your position. So don't invest more than you're willing to lose. Okay, guys, just play responsibly, get involved in these markets responsibly. But man, I could not be more bullish. So I just want to jump on here and remind you to hold your ground, soldiers, because we may be in for some rough times in the near term, but the long-term outlook is incredibly bright. So Trump ends the EB-5 visa program, introduces 5 million gold cards, all right? We've got already $1 trillion worth of people waiting in line to get this new visa that costs $5 million. So 200,000 people have already signed up on the waiting list. And then I got to thinking, so there are 80 million, there are 58 million millionaires in the world as of right now. By the end of this year, we are projected to have 80 million millionaires. That is a almost 40% jump. It's massive. And what if just 25% of those millionaires decided, you know what, I'm going to buy a Bitcoin and just have it there, just to diversify a little bit. What would happen then? There are 21 million, much less than that, because we haven't mined them all, first of all. And second of all, a lot of them have been lost. What if all of them decided they wanted one Bitcoin? What would that do to the supply shock? I mean, it is coming. There is no doubt in my mind. So here I just want to remind you of the facts of why it's going to be the biggest crypto bull run in history. Maybe not this year, but within these next 5 years. Now, this year, I believe, is going to boom incredibly also, but it's going to be an ongoing thing. In fact, it could potentially even be a super cycle. We could be in for, these mini cycles within a bigger cycle of Bitcoin correcting and consolidation and a mini bear market, which then goes into the next bull cycle, and we have mini cycles instead of these long drawn out cycles. Okay, so AI is the biggest story in the past 2 years. It is the biggest catalyst for innovation and acceleration of progress. AI is advancing at record speed, which we all know, and these are the 5 technologies that I talked about in my last video: robotics, energy storage, AI, blockchain tech, and multi-omic sequencing. So Cathie Woods is saying that the combination of these 5 powerful technologies will lead us into this super cycle. And here we have the value associated with disruptive innovation. So she's saying that equities, stocks can go from 12 trillion to 140 trillion in the next 5 years, a 10x increase. This is unheard of for the stock market, okay? And the real GDP growth will accelerate from 3%, where it's been only the last 125 years, over a century, to 7 to 8%. Higher wage growth will lead to lower inflation because it increases productivity, right? So the historical comparison, 125 years ago, 3 major techs came into combination: telephone, electricity, and internal combustion. And that increased GDP by 5x. Now, if this seems boring to you, it shouldn't, because this is the explanation for why your bags are going to balloon and explode in value. And if you understand this concept, then having a long-term outlook is much easier. And like I said, if you're bored, if you want to make money now, if you want to learn how to trade the ups and downs, learn how to trade. Join Capital Mindset Trading Group. We are doing these incredible sessions every week. We nailed the winners this week once again, which I'll go over later in this episode. And otherwise, just hold tight, guys. Hold tight. Buckle up. And also, Cathie Woods is doubling down. She says the odds have actually increased for her $1.5 million Bitcoin price prediction by 2030. So there's more institutional adoption, more interest in Bitcoin than ever. That's why she's doubling down. Stablecoins. Again, I'm going to repeat these statistics. 15 trillion in transaction value last year. And by the end of the year, the run rate was $30 trillion. DeFi is scaling rapidly. More volume. Now, not more transactions, but more transaction volume than Visa and MasterCard. Let that sink in. The super cycle and the future of wealth creation. We're entering a new era of exponential economic growth. AI, robotics, and blockchain will reshape the way we fundamentally live our lives. Productivity gains plus technological convergence equals unprecedented wealth creation. How are we going from 58 million millionaires to 80 million millionaires in 1 year? How? How will we get there? How does that work? Are you ready for the biggest financial shift in history? So I kind of tricked you guys by saying, are we on the verge of one of the biggest crypto crashes ever? Well, we could be on the verge of one more crypto crash. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that, we're completely bullish and we're ready to flip. No, we might take a little bit more time. In fact, I think we might even go up and down and consolidate until June. But can you wait until June? Realistically, you've made it this far. Can you wait until June for the massive explosion to start? In Bitcoins and altcoins. So when I gave this presentation, we were at a 10, at extreme fear. You had Eric Trump coming out and saying, buy the dip. That's a whole nother scenario. But the last time we saw this reading, this low was June 2022 after the Terra Luna crash. It is essential to zoom out and understand, kind of like where we're at as compared to other cycles. Does this merit a crash the size of Terra Luna? It doesn't add up, guys. Here are dips in the previous bull markets, which are historically incredible buying opportunities. You can see this is from a previous cycle. I believe this is the 2017, 2018, 38%, 38%, 33, 36. Okay, these dips happen in bull runs, and you got to buckle up and suck it up. And if you want those parabolic gains, you have to be able to stomach these pullbacks. And here we have the latest. Politicians change, but Bitcoin stays. And CZ updating his headline, waiting for the new headline. Bitcoin crashes from 1 million to 985,000. Okay, he called it last time. He said in 2020, he said, waiting for the new headline. Bitcoin crashes from 101,000 to 85,000. Here we are like clockwork, guys. And Richard Tang, Binance CEO, says the crypto market is seeing a tactical retreat, not a reversal. We've been here before and we bounce back even stronger. So all the times that Bitcoin has died over here and what has happened after. It's died 477 times in the last 16 years of existence. Okay, Despite Bitcoin's subpar short-term performance, Bitwise European head of research Andrei Dragosh encouraged patience and referenced a chart of Bitcoin's post-halving performance, which suggests a larger part of its bull market has yet to occur. So all of these charts that I'm going to show you now indicate that we're just at the beginning of this and that we're nowhere near the top. So if that is the case, all of these factors, all of this confluence to suggest that we're nowhere near the top, why can't we have patience? Why can't we wait this out? Yes, it is painful. Yes, it is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard. Sometimes you get that tinge feeling in your stomach like, man, is this going to keep going? But then you have to zoom out, right? Here's the summer of 2023. We had a massive crash, very similar to the crash that we're having now. And we went into consolidation period before going on to absolutely boom. I think this could happen for Bitcoin. In fact, if you see similar levels would be up to like around the $130,000 level. I think the next place we're pumping to after we can break and hold these critical levels, and 100,000, which is a huge psychological milestone, right? Is 120 to 130 in the interim after that happens. So this could be gearing up for a very similar situation. So we've been through so much this year, guys, just alone. Every Friday seems to be a very interesting event. The Trump token liquidity drain, Friday, January 17th. DeepSeek dump, which we already forgot about when China came out and said they did AI for much cheaper than we are. Friday the 24th, Friday the 31st, Trump tariffs, ETH liquidations, February 14th, Libra launch, February 21st, Bybit hack, and yet Bitcoin is still at the levels it's at. It is incredibly resilient and showing strength in these times, in these tough times, to be quite frank. Now, I want you to think about this too. If a bank were to be hacked for $1.4 billion, what would happen? They would freeze withdrawals, inform the government, set up an inquiry commission, years of investigation, customers standing in line, branches closed, competitors getting an advantage. Now, what happens in crypto when a $1.4 billion hack happens? The CEO is on a live stream. Industry unites. Competitors lend support. 1 hour and everything back to normal. Industry itself is tracking and freezing. Zero withdrawals pending. This is what they don't like about crypto. Unity, strength. We can act on our own. We don't need to wait for big bureaucracy to step in and, this gave me the chills, you guys, honestly. This is just really powerful. So what's next for crypto, okay? Here's another chart from the 2017 run, and it is pointing to the fact that we could be just right here on this dump here, if you guys can see. Usually, in previous Bitcoin bull run cycles past, we have not retested the support after the initial breakout here. So that support on this chart for this bull run is around $70,000. Insane confluence at that levels. It's an incredibly strong level of support, but history suggests in previous bull runs that we don't usually go all the way down to test that. Again, another factor pointing toward the fact that we are close, very close price-wise, but time-wise, we may have a little bit longer, okay? This is a Bitcoin rainbow chart, 1 week log scale. And it shows here that we're kind of like right in the middle of the chart. In every single bull run, we've come up to this blue area and even into the purple area in cycles past. Now, diminishing returns are a thing. So even if we just came up to this blue area just above the green, that's $333,000. And, that's projected to happen in the latter part of this year in maybe Q4. So many altcoins are currently at their support levels. This is theta for all you theta gang. We gave this chart last week with Trip from Capital Mindset, the lead analyst. A lot of the altcoins look like this, and I'm going to show you now a cheat sheet, a Wall Street cheat sheet compared to all of the altcoins. So first up, I want to give you a more near-term look at Bitcoin just for the interim for the next coming days and weeks. Here we are currently around the support of 84,725. If we break that support, we've got a strong level of support here at 82,500 and the 1 day 200 moving average, which is just above or around $83,000. So those are the levels to watch right now. If we break that, we'll be heading down into the 70s, but there's a lot of data to suggest that I don't think we're going to go much lower from here. Here's just another long-term chart, Bitcoin 1 month. If the Bitcoin follows a 4-year market cycle, then we're just still right on track after the halving. As you can see, we've got a whole another period up until December 2025 and potentially into 2026 of up, onward, and upward. Usually precedes at least 3 bullish divergence indicators on the 1 week. This is from Capital Mindset Trading Group. Here we are, two drives of bullish divergence. So when we get that third one, potentially, will we be on a springboard up toward those larger numbers? That's what all data suggests here. So we're waiting on that. And finally, just another comparison, because this really helps me put things into perspective. When I see the charts match, this is what Capital Mindset does. The trading group that I'm now board member of, and I'm bringing a lot of value to, and I have a lot of plans for. This is what we do. We look at previous bull cycles to find out where we could possibly be. We've had a lot of bounces off this 1-day 200 moving average. And in 2023, the last time we bounced off this, we had a massive, massive run following. So will that happen this time? And again, those $120,000 to $130,000 levels, a lot of confluence. Now, this is the altcoin market, right? We're currently right around the 1-day 200 moving average support. And we've also got this upper sloping trend line of support. And again, we're right on support. I am buying at these levels. I'm scaling in every dip that we have. I still have a lot of conviction, and I believe we'll get that big boom that we've been waiting for as soon as the Fed pivots and the macroeconomy seems to stable out a little bit. So the level to break is 1.13 trillion. And when we do that, sky is the limit. We'll be in price discovery. So we're still on track there. And then we have Steve from Crypto Career University, the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, weakening. The SRSI signals the cycle top, mirroring cycles past, and the big test. When Bitcoin's weekly SRSI crosses up, will total 2 hit a new all-time high. So basically what we got to do is we got to avoid bearish divergence on both Bitcoin and altcoins by rallying back above our previous swing high. That swing high for Bitcoin is $108,000. The key here is the next massive pump that we have for Bitcoin must blow past $108,000 in order for us to invalidate that massive bearish divergence and continue to go down from here. And also the Pi cycle indicator predicting Bitcoin tops for 15 years without fail. I mean, that's a pretty good hit rate. Despite what other charts suggest, this indicator says Bitcoin's top is not in, and we have another explosive move left. 150K next, or will this time be different? Again, just another point of confluence suggesting that we got more gas left in this tank. Much, much more gas than most people can imagine, I believe. And finally, let's just go over a few altcoin setups to wrap this up. This is what a lot of the altcoins look like. This is the Wall Street cheat sheet, okay? And it's mirroring it pretty damn well. So here we are. We've had this kind of like big pump after the anger and just capitulating ever since. We could potentially now be at the lowest point of depression for altcoins. I actually really believe this is true. And a lot of the altcoins have this exact same looking chart. So if that's the case, we've been given an incredible buying opportunity, and I believe it. And I've been averaging into my positions in all of the strongest altcoins at these levels. Here, I just want to call out a few winners from the Capital Mindset Trading Group. We're always nailing those setups. The altcoins that look different amidst the rest who are just bleeding and down to the right. So auction is one of those. The token was recently used to purchase, I believe it was a Monet painting at a major auction house. So I've been accumulating this one for a while now. I learned about it from Trip in our Capital Mindset Trading Group, and it's been incredibly bullish. So we're watching for a break above the trend line or overhead resistance. Here at 1746, or breaking above this trend line. And it was actually one of the top gainers from that week. So 10%. And the other top gainer that we nailed is OG, which is here in this list as well. So we are always nailing the most bullish setups. Here is OG, USDT 4-hour, by the breakout of $4.33. With a measured move up here to $5.60 just about. And that's just getting started for OG. As you can see, OG then took off for another 15% in these market conditions. Phenomenal. So we're nailing the winners, guys. Nailing the winners. Here's OG, the top gainer of this past week when we called it. And also, we do call crypto stocks once in a while. Trip, our lead admin, posted this, which is Alibaba. Watch for the break above the triangle 200 simple moving average. Now, this is a 3-day chart, okay? Check that out. 75% on a stock. That is phenomenal. So we do stocks as well as crypto in this Capital Mindset Trading Group. And finally, ETH. Now, for ETH to start performing and to start breaking out and thus leading the altcoin bull run rush. Okay, we need to break above the point of control, the 200 moving average. This is the 1 hour chart, which is around $2,215, and then start to trend back above these major key levels from there. The upper range point of control is 2,700, and then we've got a lot of confluence here at 2,840. So these are levels to watch. Okay, and like I've said in many, many episodes before, even if you don't like ETH, you should want ETH to break out because a lot of the liquidity is tied to ETH, and all of your altcoins are going to start breaking out once ETH starts to break out. That's just what we've seen in cycles past, and again, because a lot of liquidity is tied to ETH. So, guys, I know it's been hard. I know things look dreary, but these are the times when the conviction pays off, and these strong hands and the ones with strategies are going to be greatly, greatly rewarded. So yes, we could be on the verge of another crypto crash, but after this tough time, I believe there's light just outside the tunnel there, and that we're in the eye of the storm and soon to be in the glory days. We already started that digital golden era. I truly believe so. So just stand strong. We'll be here for you. I'll be here every step of the way. I'll be making more videos this week as I'm back after a week-long hiatus of just building on my other projects here. And I'm really glad to be back, guys. It's fun to be here with you again. I'll be going over some altcoin setups now this week. Let me know what you want me to cover, and I'll see you tomorrow.